Sir, you may start, please.
Hello everyone. I am Professor Dr. B.N. Kesur. I am going to speak on the elements of sentence and noun phrase in this particular lecture. So first we will try to understand what is sentence and what are the elements of sentence, and then we will go for noun phrase and noun phrase analysis. So first we will look at sentence and we'll try to understand the elements of sentence. So here you can see there are some expressions, and in these expressions you can see the red book, when I came home, Swami works hard, at the railway station, the minister's visit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he coming tomorrow, what a beautiful flower it is, will he take part in the competition, factory works in Sudhir, and Gandhiji were following the path of ahimsa and truth. So you have to understand this, that in these expressions all are not the complete sentences. Means there are some sentences and there are some non-sentences. Okay. For example, look at the first example, the red book. When you look at this expression, you realize that the book is red, but you cannot say that red book is a complete sentence, because here some elements of sentence are missing. So it is non-sentence. Okay. Second, when I came home, you will notice the same thing, that subject I is there and other elements are there, but still it is not a complete sentence because comma is used at the end of this expression and the remaining part is missing. Then Swami works hard. You will realize the same thing, that comma is there, but sentence is not complete. At the railway station, again it is incomplete sentence. So these expressions cannot be considered as complete sentences. So if you look at these expressions, you will get the idea about it, that only sentence number or expression number 10 is complete sentence because that there is a full stop. Gandhiji were following the path of ahimsa and truth. Okay, that sentence is generally divided into two parts. So first we will focus on these two parts. First part is subject, and then we say that the sentence is divided into two parts. So first is subject, that is suppose Gandhiji, okay, that is subject, and this is called as predicate. Okay, so sentence is divided into two parts, subject and predicate. in subject, you can say Gandhiji is subject and were following the path of ahimsa and truth is the predicate. Now you can see that predicate part is again having some elements, or you can call it constituents. Okay. And now we will see some more examples so that you people can get the idea about it. Okay. Simple sentence and its part. A simple sentence has two main parts, subject and predicate. A subject is the theme of the sentence, and a predicate gives us a new information about the subject. So, a predicate of sentence contains only one complete verb phrase. A complete verb carries a tense marker on it. For example, you can say, my brother plays cricket. So, you have to identify the predicate part from this sentence, and you can identify the predicate part easily with the help of verb of that particular sentence. So here you can see my brother can be considered as a subject and plays cricket can be considered as a predicate part of the sentence. Okay. So here you can easily identify the predicate part with the help of verb. In second example, the boys are playing in the garden. The boys is subject and are playing in the garden is predicate. So in these sentences, the verbs plays and are playing have present tense form. Similarly, in the following sentences, you can observe she sang a wonderful song. So she is a subject and sang a wonderful song is a predicate part. He walked very fast. So he is subject and remaining part is considered as a predicate. Okay. So here you can see there are several other types of subjects. Okay. But we will not discuss all these in detail. Here you can see these three examples. Tiger is a wild animal. In this sentence, tiger is a noun and that is functioning there as a subject. So noun can function as a subject in the particular sentence. Second example, the tiger of Bengal is a rare species. So noun phrase is functioning as a subject. The tiger of Bengal is a noun phrase and that noun phrase is functioning as a subject. In third example, what he reported was unbelievable. Here you can see that noun clause is functioning as a subject. So what he reported is a noun clause and that is functioning as a subject. So subject can be a noun or a noun phrase or a noun clause. Okay. Now we will try to understand the elements in the predicate phrase. I will give you the detailed idea about the elements of subject, means we will see and we will discuss it in noun phrase part. So first we will focus only on the functional elements in the predicate phrase. So you have seen that a simple sentence is a structure which has two parts, subject and predicate. In the predicate part, there are other basic elements which we are going to study now. Let us see what these basic elements are. Sentence is, they elected Priyanka chairman last year. They elected Priyanka chairman last year. And here you can see that simple sentence has 5 basic functions, okay, which are used in this sentence. First, subject. They is subject. Elected. Now here you can say that this is predicate part, and in the predicate part you can see verb. Elected is verb. Priyanka is object. Chairman is complement, and last year is adjunct. Okay. So you can see that this simple sentence has 5 basic functions: SVOCA, subject, verb, object, complement, and adjunct. Now, first we will try to understand what is object. Just a minute. Okay, so you can see object. First, we will speak about this element, object. Shilpa wrote a letter. Then second example is the dog chewed a bone. Third example, the lion hunted a deer. And fourth example, he ate his breakfast. Okay. So in these sentences, the verbs wrote, chewed, hunt, ate indicate actions, and the subjects Shilpa, the dog, the lion, and he are the agents of this action. Okay. So here you can see that Shilpa wrote a letter. So a letter is considered as object. Shilpa wrote a letter. So a letter is object. The dog chewed a bone. Bone is object. The lion hunted a deer. So a deer is object. He ate his breakfast. So his breakfast will be treated as an object. Okay. Now, there are actually 2 types of objects. Here we have seen only direct object. Okay. But there is also another one that is called as indirect object. So you can see some examples of indirect object. Okay. Now here you can see passive with or one sentence with direct object and indirect object. The postman handed him a letter. So a letter is direct object and him is indirect object. Okay. So here in these examples, you can see the mother bought her daughter a coat. So a coat is direct object and her daughter is indirect object. Rajiv lent me his typewriter. So typewriter is direct object and me is indirect object. His father left him a lot of landed property. So a lot of landed property will be considered as direct object and him will be considered as an indirect object. Okay, they promised me a job. So a job will be direct object and me will be indirect object. The landlord offered us the use of extra room. So the use of extra room will be direct object and us will be indirect object. So first we try to understand what is object and how direct object or indirect object is used in the sentence. Now we will look at the another constituent or element of sentence, that is subject complement. Harish is an engineer. In this example or second example, Jyoti is very intelligent. You can see that noun phrase an engineer or intelligent. Just a minute. सर मीटिंग मध्ये केतन सरांकडून घेऊन करून घ्यायचं ऑनलाईन लेक्चर सुरू आहे. Harish is an engineer. Jyoti is very intelligent. So in these two examples, you can say an engineer is a noun phrase and intelligent is an adjective phrase. If we simply say Harish is or Jyoti is, these will be non-sentences because their meaning is not complete. The phrases an engineer and very intelligent complete their meaning. Between Harish and an engineer and Jyoti and very intelligent. So there is a kind of relation of equation. Okay, Harish, an engineer, Jyoti, very intelligent. So these phrases complete the meaning of the subjects. They are therefore called subject complement. They are therefore called as subject complement. Okay. So we have seen subject complement. Here you can see some more examples of subject complement. The bride looked a queen. He grew vegetables. John turned a terrorist. Okay, so underline part is direct object. Okay, sorry, subject complement. A queen. Who is a queen? The bride is a queen, or the bride looked a queen. So this is subject complement. Vegetables. He grew vegetables. Okay, all these underlined words are subject complement. Now, another element which we generally observe in the sentence, that is object complement. Because there are actually two types of complement, subject complement or object complement. We have seen subject complement. Now this is object complement. The members elected Sharma president. And second example, Rajan considered Seema fortunate. So if you ask who is the president, the answer will be Sharma. Similarly, if you ask who is fortunate, the answer will be Seema. It means that the noun phrase president is related to the object Sharma and complement its meaning, while the adjective phrase fortunate complements the meaning of the object Seema. So both president and fortunate complements So both precedent and fortunate therefore function as object complements. The object complement is either a noun phrase or an adjective phrase. It gives us more information about the object and it occurs after the object. Okay. Now, next element of a sentence is adverbial complement and adjuncts. The phrase which is necessary to complete the meaning of a sentence is complement. A complement is an obligatory element in the sentence structure. An adverb also functions as a complement of a verb phrase. For example, I put the book on the table. In this sentence, if we omit the prepositional phrase on the table, the sentence will be ungrammatical because you cannot say, I put the book. Okay. So the phrase on the table is an adverb, adverbial of location. You have studied adverbial of place, adverbial of time, and adverbial of manner. So an adverbial complement can be a single adverb like here, there, or a prepositional phrase as in sentence number 1. I put the book on the table. So there are some more examples. The underlined part indicates adverbial. Now we will move to the noun phrase. I have given you the idea about the elements of a sentence. Now I am going to share with you the another file. I hope you are able to see this file. Noun phrase. As I gave you the idea about subject part in the very beginning of this lecture, now we will try to understand what is noun phrase. When we analyze a sentence, we do not immediately divide it into individual words. We rather first break it into certain large groups or large units, then cut up each group further. The large formal units into which we divide sentences first are often called phrases. Thus, we can identify noun phrase, verb phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, and prepositional phrase as part of sentence. So, whatever we have discussed up to this time, we have seen that all these are called as formal labels. Okay, formal labels. But we have seen the functional labels like subject, object, complement, adverbial. Okay, now here we are going to look at the formal labels, particularly noun phrase. So every sentence consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. As we said earlier, that we cannot only use noun phrase, that will be incomplete sentence, or even we cannot use verb phrase only. So first we'll try to understand what is the main function of a noun phrase. A noun phrase may typically function as the subject of a sentence or an object that can be direct or indirect object, or a complement that can be again subject complement or object complement, or an adjunct or an adjunct. So these functions are illustrated in the below sentences. So here you can say Al-Quran wrote a book with an interesting title. So the italicized portion is a noun phrase functioning as a subject. In the second example, you can say bring out the magic in your mind. So the magic in your mind is a noun phrase functioning here as a direct object. Al-Quran gave his readers some refreshingly new advice. So his readers will be considered as indirect object. So this noun phrase is functioning as an indirect object. Al-Quran is a magician turned writer. So magician turned writer is subject complement, and this noun phrase is functioning as a subject complement. His magic performances made Al-Quran a cult figure. So a cult figure is an object complement. This is actually a noun phrase which is functioning as an object complement. And Prakasam lent me Al-Quran's book last week. So last week is noun phrase, but here it is functioning as an adjunct. So the functions we have mentioned above are in relation to the sentence as a whole. Okay. Apart from these, a noun phrase may form part of another noun phrase. A noun phrase is also an obligative part of a prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase has the structure preposition plus noun phrase. So the noun phrase in such cases is called object of a preposition or sometimes prepositional complement. The prepositional phrase of which a noun phrase is a part will have a function to perform in the whole sentence in which it occurs. For example, I have visited Sarthi's house on several occasions. The noun phrase several occasions is the object of the preposition on, while the prepositional phrase on several occasions is an adjunct in the present sentence. Now we will try to understand the form of the noun phrase. I have given you the idea about the function of a noun phrase. Now look at the form of the noun phrase. We have listed the various functions that a noun phrase can perform. Turning now to the form of the noun phrase, we may say that a noun phrase is typically a group of words with a noun as the head, with or without any words before and after the head. That is, each noun phrase must have a noun and may or may not have any pre-modifiers or post-modifiers. The various possibilities are illustrated in these examples. So here you can see snakes. This noun phrase consisting only a noun without any pre-modifier or post-modifier. Okay. In second example, a poisonous snake. This noun phrase consists of a noun and pre-modifier. Snakes without venom. In this example, you can see noun phrase consisting of a noun and a post modifier. And in last example, the majestic snake which D.H. Lawrence wrote about, a noun phrase consisting of a noun with pre-modifiers and a post-modifier. Okay, so here you can see the majestic is pre-modifier and which D.H. Lawrence wrote about is post-modifier. And snake is noun. Okay, so there are different classes of noun. You people have already studied it. So you can see these examples. Okay, zero article, definite article, indefinite article, indefinite quantifier, or plural. Okay, so you can see these examples. So when you look at that table, we can divide it into some major classes. First, proper noun. Second, common nouns. Third, countable noun. And fourth, uncountable noun. Okay. And even sometimes you can see some nouns like cake have dual class membership that can be countable or uncountable, both. Then you see some concrete and abstract nouns. So in this particular tree diagram, you can see noun, and that is having proper noun, common noun. Under the head common noun, you can see countable and non-countable. Under the head countable, you can see again concrete and abstract. And under the head non-countable, you can see concrete and abstract again. And these are the examples of proper noun: Anand, Allahabad. Examples of concrete countable noun: flower, giraffe. Countable abstract noun: remark, opinion. Concrete non-countable noun: silver, water. Abstract non-countable noun: music, homework. Now we will try to understand the constituents of the noun phrase. As I gave you the idea about it, that a noun phrase may have pre-modifiers or post-modifier. Okay. Here we will try to understand how noun phrase is consistent, or noun phrase consists only noun or some other elements before noun or after noun. So we'll try to understand it with the help of some examples. Here you can see sentence is kingfishers are birds. So kingfishers is a noun phrase having a noun kingfisher, and birds is another noun phrase having the noun birds. So if you look at the other examples, you can see personal pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, or WH words can be used as the part of noun phrase. For example, he is the man of the match. So he is functioning as a subject, but the formal label for this will be noun phrase. Okay, it is personal pronoun which is functioning as a noun phrase. Then that is the question. So that is actually used as a demonstrative pronoun, but here it is functioning as a noun phrase. And what is the answer? What is functioning as a noun phrase. Okay. So in noun phrase, first I will show you what are the constituents or elements, and then we will discuss constituents one by one. Okay. Yeah. I hope you are able to see this structure of noun phrase in diagram form. You can see noun phrase is having noun. This noun is considered as the head of a noun phrase, head of a noun phrase. And all these are the modifiers. They are called as modifiers. So here, first, when you see a noun phrase, you must start with noun. You have to identify the noun first. If you are able to identify the noun, you can easily identify the other elements, because the last element in a noun phrase is a noun, and that is the head of that particular noun phrase. So here you can see classifier. This classifier actually comes before noun. When you say college, college is a noun. But if I say arts college, then arts is also another noun which is used here as a classifier. So we will try to see what are the classifiers. Okay. First, I'm just showing you the structure of NP in diagram. Then another element which can come before noun is adjective phrase. That adjective phrase may have intensifier or adjective. Okay. Before noun, quantifier may come. Quantifiers, we will try to see what are the quantifiers in detail. Other elements which are possible in noun phrase are ordinal, determiners, and predeterminers. Here, I would like to clear one more thing, which is very important, that this noun phrase is the noun is the head of this noun phrase, and these elements which we see, classifier, then adjective phrase, then quantifier, ordinal, or determiners, they can, means 1 to 5, can function as a predeterminer. So whatever we see in determiners, ordinals, quantifier, adjective phrase, classifier can function as a predeterminer. We will try to see some examples and we'll try to understand it with the help of these examples. So I gave you the idea about the structure of a noun phrase and constituents of a noun phrase. We'll try to see these constituents one by one. Determiners are words which indicate the kind of reference a particular noun phrase has. We shall discuss in the next unit the various meanings associated with determiners. But here we'll try to understand what kind of determiners generally come in noun phrase. Articles are the part of determiners. Okay. Then possessive pronouns, indefinite article or definite article. Possessive pronouns like my, her. Then genitive possessives, relative determiners like whose, which, then whichever, wherever, etc. The interrogative determiners like what, which, whose. Negative determiners like no. Assertive determiners like some. Non-assertive determiners like any. The demonstrative determiners, this, that, these, those. the universal determiners every and each, the non-assertive determiner like either, and negative determiner neither. Okay, so these are the determiners, types of determiners which come in a noun phrase. Now here you can see this structure shown in tree diagram. Noun phrase is having a noun phrase, noun phrase is having a noun and determiner. So first we have seen that only noun can be the part of noun phrase. Here you can see determiner and noun. Two elements are there in a noun phrase. For example, a policeman. So policeman is a noun and a is article shown under the head determiner. Then next element is ordinals. The next in order after determiners in the structure of the noun phrase are ordinals like first, second, third, etc. Even sometimes general ordinals like next, last, past, another, other, additional, further are possible. So you can see in this tree diagram analysis of a noun phrase, the second question is a noun phrase where question is a noun, second is ordinal, and the is article which is the part of determiner. Okay. Then next element, possible element is quantifier. There are again types of quantifiers. We can first notice cardinal numerals as a part of quantifiers like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. etc. For example, 1 question, 3 questions, 3 answers, 3 books, 500 million rupees, etc. etc. Then there are other quantifiers like many, a few, several, a large number of, small number of, good number of. Then you can see the examples. A little learning is dangerous thing, so a little. Okay. Then a large quantity of. Okay. Examples of quantifiers. You can see the tree diagram analysis of one phrase. Ezekiel's first 3 books. This is a noun phrase. Books is head of that noun phrase, so noun. 3 is quantifier. First is ordinal, which indicates the order, and Ezekiel's is actually shown as the part of determiner because it is having possessive. Okay, and here you can see that possessive is shown as having one noun phrase, having one noun, that is proper noun Ezekiel and apostrophe s. Okay, so this is another example of a noun phrase where you see noun, quantifier, ordinal, and determiner. Next element of a noun phrase is adjective phrase. An adjective phrase consists of an intensifier called an adverb in traditional grammar and an adjective, as I have shown you earlier. That adjective phrase is having adjective or intensifier or both. So here you can see the example, tedious lessons. This is a noun phrase. Lessons is noun and TDS is adjective, that is the part of adjective phrase, and these two elements constitute a noun phrase. Then you can see another example, an absolutely honest politician. So politician is a noun, honest is adjective, absolutely is intensifier. In traditional grammar, we call it adverb. Okay, so adjective phrase is having these two elements, and then determiner, article, and. So this noun phrase is having determiner, adjective phrase, and noun. You can see several examples of this. Now we will move to the next element, that is classifier. This is the last in the list of pre-modifiers, and classifier is a noun or adjective or a clause which classifies the referent of a noun as part of a group or subgroup. Okay, so you can see the examples. A commerce student, student is noun, commerce is again noun, but here it is functioning as a classifier. A is determiner. Okay, in the next example you can see cuff is the head, noun, dry is an adjective, but here it is functioning as a classifier and a determiner. Another example, the greenhouse effect. So effect is actually the noun, head, and greenhouse is the noun phrase which is functioning as a classifier, and the is determiner. So you will not show greenhouse as a noun phrase, but you will show it as a classifier because that is classifying this head noun. Next example, the career advancement scheme. Now here again you see scheme is noun, so it is head of this noun phrase, and career advancement is also again a noun phrase, and this noun phrase is here functioning as a classifier because that classifies this noun scheme, and the is functioning as a determiner. Then you see a come hither look. So look is noun, head of the family, means head of the noun phrase. Then you see come hither is clause, or you can treat it as a sentence, means even a sentence can come there and function there as a classifier. So here it is a clause, a come hither look, a is determiner, and this is called as classifier. Okay, now here you see a never say die spirit. So spirit is head, noun, and this is actually a sentence, but here it is functioning as a classifier and a determiner. So classifier is a productive category. This facility, which is available in English for using nouns, phrases, and clauses as modifiers, is a productive feature of English. As we saw above, not only any noun, but any phrase or clause can be made to modify a noun or a noun phrase. Okay. For example, you can say UGC pay scales implementation issue. Now, when you look at this phrase, this is a noun phrase, okay? But issue is actually, because that is the last element of this noun phrase, so that is the head of the noun phrase, and that is noun issue. And this remaining part, UGC pay scale implementation, will be treated as a classifier. Okay. For the time being, if you think that, you can see this example is discussed area. UGC pay scales implementation issue. So issue is shown as a noun and UGC pay scales implementation is shown as a classifier. Now, in the next part, you can see this issue is removed from this noun phrase and only the noun phrase is UGC pay scales implementation. In that case, implementation will be the head noun and UGC pay scales will be treated as a classifier. Again, if you move to this example, this implementation is removed from this noun phrase and this is UGC pay scales. And here pay scales is functioning as the head compound noun and UGC will be treated as a classifier. Okay, so I hope you people have understood this. And then the last element, as I told you, is predeterminers. Whatever comes before the determiner, only in the presence of determiner, predeterminers can come. So here, some predeterminers are listed and illustrated, particularly 5 major kinds of pre-modifiers in a noun phrase we have discussed, and the same can come and function as predeterminers. I have already given you the idea about it. So determiners, ordinals, quantifiers, adjective phrases, and classifiers can function as predeterminer. Okay. So here you can see the example. All the 5 boys. So boys is noun, head. 5 is quantifier. The is article, determiner. And whatever is there before determiner, that will be treated as a predeterminer. Okay. Then many of your problems. So problems is noun, head. Okay. And here you can see your is determiner and many of is functioning here as a predeterminer. Then both the children. So children is noun, the is determiner, and both is functioning here as predeterminer. Half the time. So time is noun, the is article, determiner, and half is functioning here as predeterminer. So here you can see in all these examples, first element is predeterminer, all, many, both, half, what, such. So they are actually classifiers, adjectives, quantifiers, ordinals, and determiners which are used here. So these words which occur before the determiner in all the cases are called predeterminers. Okay, so we can say roughly that whatever comes before the determiner is a predeterminer. Okay, so I hope you people have seen the constituents and elements of a noun phrase. And here again in this diagram, which shows a structure of a noun phrase, you can see these elements: noun, classifier, adjective phrase, quantifier, ordinal, determiner, predeterminer. These are some examples where you can see predeterminer, determiner, adjective phrase, 2 adjective phrases, and noun. all those nice little children. I'll show you one example which covers almost all the elements. Okay. I think that is not here. Anyway, so with this, I conclude my today's presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so you can stop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, live.
Yes, sir.
Our discussion.
I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Dr. Bhupendra Kesur, sir, HOD of Department of English, MJ College. Sir, your presentation is really very praiseworthy. We appreciated this one. And sir, you delivered your talk on elements of sentences and noun phrases. So thank you so much, sir, for boosting our students. On behalf of Department of English, Jagannath Kalwada Shaha, we express gratitude for your presence, sir. And you took a time from your busy schedule, sir. So because we are having some bondage, and you are already very cooperative, sir. So on behalf of the principal of our college, Dr. A.P. Khainar, sir, I express sincere thanks, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So if you stop this live, then we can have discussion with students.